Hey everybody. Today I wanted to make a video about something I've never really spoken about before. So recently I saw a video from Wooka Speaks, and I really hope I'm pronouncing that name right. And he was talking about him being insecure and seeking validation, just really trying to make the best of his life and just being shut down by everybody. And I thought to myself, I would really love to share my point of view from this because my high school experience wasn't bad. It was actually very enjoyable. And I would say I had quite a lot of friends. And some would even tend to say I was popular. But to talk about that, we have to start at the start. And that was all the way back in elementary school. So this is about 10 years ago. Back then, I didn't really have any friends. And I was typically left out of everything. Playing outside, conversations, jokes, hanging out after school, hanging out in the weekends. And I remember this one day when I went to school and our teacher asked us, like, did you enjoy this year? And she went by every single person one by one, and everybody said, yes, I enjoyed it. Yes, I did. Yeah, I sure did. And then she came to me and I said, no. And I just heard everybody around me just kind of like laugh, and I was like, "Oh man, I am, I am so done with this." But luckily for me, high school was about to start, and for me, that was like my second chance. I could finally make some new friends. None of my elementary peers would follow me to my high school. So the first day I come into high school, I was hyped. I was so stoked. I was excited. I wanted to speak to everybody. I was being friendly to everybody. And I just really tried to be very, very happy. But looking back on it, I think I was more looking for validation than I was actually just being myself. It wasn't that I disliked being very energetic or looking for that validation because I was getting it. People were actually talking back to me and people were being friendly. I know that isn't the healthiest way to communicate, but at that time, it really helped me out, just really getting over the lack of attention I got in elementary school. The way education works in my country is very weird, but to simplify it, is that there's three base levels of education, and you have a lower, a mid, and a high one, varying in difficulty. So typically, how it works is when you start out at one level of education, you finish your high school at that level of education. Except if your grades are really exceptional or really poor, then you can always shift one up or one down. However, I did a special kind of course where the first 3 years, all the levels were the same. And after those 3 years, you would kind of get scattered all around depending on your grades and whatnot. So that meant over those 3 years, I made a lot of friends and we were all very close. We had the same class for like 3 years straight. And at the end of those 3 years, we all got split up. And I was one of the very few ones that got sent to the lowest level. The others that got sent to the lowest level, I didn't really connect with as well. So then when I got into my fourth year, it was a completely new class. Every single person already knew each other because they didn't do the course, so they actually had the same line for the past 3 years. So once again, I was all alone. Plus, I didn't really like the people there, so I just sat in the class alone, quiet, and just kind of went through my year like that. I didn't really do anything during that time. So then at the end of my fourth year, you also have the option to go up one level if you've gotten good grades and you got the approval from the teachers, which I did. So I went up one level and I once again was in a completely new class, but this time things were a bit different. I remember the first day I walked into the classroom and there was this one guy, he was sitting like in the center of the class and he was so loud. He had so much presence in that classroom, and I was thinking to myself, I could do an entire year again of just being quiet and not really doing anything besides just sticking to myself. But you know what? I could also just walk up to the guy, sit next to him, make a talk, and he was the kind of guy that would talk to everybody. He didn't care who you are, where you were from. He would connect with you like always. So I sat next to him, and before I knew it, I was talking to everybody. We were speaking to the left, to the right, to front, to the back. We were talking to the teachers. We walked out of the classroom. We talked to everybody there. Like, this guy had such a presence, and a lot of people didn't like it, but it was great for like connecting. And so then, after a few months, I started talking to a girl I liked. I actually kind of got the balls for it. And it's not that I was bad looking, it's not that I wasn't confident in my looks. It's just that I had never done anything like that before, like talking to a girl, asking her out on a date, meeting her parents, meeting her brothers and sister, going over to her house. Like, what was I doing? I remember we everything moved so quickly as well, and after like a few weeks we actually had a relationship. Man, was it awkward. And I remember her telling me that actually a few of the girls in our class had a crush on me. And I was like, wait, what? How? And she said, like, yeah, you're cute, you're handsome, like. I was like, yeah, I mean, you have to say it. You're my girlfriend. It's like, no. It like everybody already told me. Like before we were dating, we talk about that kind of stuff. We're girls. And at that point, I was like, holy shit. I I think I did it. I kind of got popular. Like, when did this happen? I wasn't used to this attention, and all of a sudden I was 1 year older than the rest, and I got all the attention in the world. Like, it was so absurd. But I suppose it wasn't just that. It was also a bit of me not caring as much anymore about the validation. I was still hungry for it, but I was getting it without asking for it. And it sounds very weird. But like I said, people liked me for me. I was getting that validation I always sought after. I just didn't have to put in the effort to get it. And it wasn't like a temporary thing, it actually stuck. People kept wanting to hang out with me, and I kept getting invited to parties, and it kept just growing and growing. It was so weird that at some point people just started calling my names in the hallways, and I did not know them at all. And didn't happen like once or twice, it happened multiple times a week where people would just greet me in the hallway, and I had no idea who they were. And it wasn't really like a sudden thing, it just kind of developed over time, I suppose. But then high school came to an end, and everything just kind of died down and went flat, and there wasn't really as much excitement as there was anymore. People split apart, everybody went to universities, and nobody really spoke anymore. And if I look back in present day on the people I used to know or who used to know me, it's probably maybe like five. They'll know my name and I'll know theirs, but it's not like we're still talking or that we're still friends. But the most important thing to me is that I had such a blast, and that's probably the only advice I could ever give you, and that's to just have fun and try to make it last. It doesn't really matter what people think about you in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Like, who cares? I mean, don't kill anybody. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But, just have a bit of fun. It doesn't really matter what people think about you as long as you enjoy it. If they judge you, just ignore them. And if they laugh with you, then laugh with them too. Just be yourself.